What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today reactions to the classics. Got another fun top 10 list to react to. This time, courtesy of our patron and supporter, friend of the channel, Dan, and we're going to be doing a top 10 obscure UK artist. Dan noted, I've gone all out, guys. Hopefully, it'll knock your Texan socks off. There's a range of genres from hip hop, indie, punk, soul, prog, a music video, live performance, and an artist from each country of the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So Dan covered his bases here. I am very much looking forward to this. I'm not really familiar with any of the artists on this list. I've heard of a handful of them, but I've never really dove into their work. So now today's as good a day as ever, right? So looking forward to this one, y'all. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit that big red subscribe button. You can check out our Patreon page, all our social media stuff down below. But enough talk, man. Let's just dive into this. As always, I'm going to have the lyrics pulled up for each one of these tunes. Music won't be in the YouTube video, but there will be a link down below to kind of get around the copyright and all that good stuff. So we're starting this off. Number 10 here. The song Yes. I'm familiar with the band Yes, of course, but this is the song Yes by the group Mick Almont and Butler from their record in 1995. This is their debut single, went to 8 in the UK, and is their most successful single. NME put it on their 500 greatest songs of all time list at 174. So a lot of acclaim for this track. Both McAlmont and Butler had departed from their previous bands in acrimonious circumstances shortly before the release. We had McAlmont from Thieves and Butler from Suede. That's cool. The lyrics of the song were a thinly disguised attack on their former colleagues. In 2013, Bernard Butler spoke to NME about the song's genesis, saying, quote, "It was the first piece of music I wrote after I left Suede. I wrote it as an instrumental. Everything was in place, but it didn't have the voice. Everything I'd done in the past 6 months had been really dark. I'd come out of a very sad situation and lost a lot of friends, so it was a very liberating song. I met David at the Jazz Cafe in Camden and said, 'I've got this song, do you want to try it out?' He came back to me 2 days later and sang the first verse. Had no second verse, so I just said, 'Hey, sing the first one again.' I wanted it to be like a great piece of 60s vinyl." So that's just kind of the little build-up we have here. Got some facts on all these tracks, or most of them rather, and so we'll be doing that before each song. So I'm looking forward to this. Thank you again to Dan. Let's discover some obscure artists and maybe find some new favorites along the way. Bravo to McAlmont and Butler with the track Yes here. I mean, this is number 10. I already know this list is going to be legendary, man. Oh, just what a fun song. Kind of a bit uplifting in a sense, and if you kind of reminded me of that Bee Gees, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Philip Bailey and Barry Gibb kind of cross-matched. You'd kind of get a little bit of this in this next generation here with David just bringing in an unbelievable vocal performance right there. Just such a song that had such positive vibes about it, and just as I mentioned towards the end of the reaction, one I didn't want to end, and so smooth. Had a bit of that soul into it, that a little bit of even that dance, funky disco conglomeration, but updated, made it their own, man. And to come out of the gates with this on as your debut single, man, it's no wonder this is still their highest charting and biggest success. And lyrically, a lot of repetition in here. It just got really catchy. One you just got lost in with the groove, and I really dug this one. I see the record's only 11 songs, man. This is one I'll be adding to my listening list for sure, man. I'm gonna have to check this out. So Dan, you're starting off on a strong note, man. A strong note. And now we're gonna go to number 9. We have Insubstantial from Pale Saints. Going to stay in the 90s, early 90s though, from their 1990 record, The Comforts of Madness. Formed in 1987, they stayed together until 96. NME named this album the 45th best album of the 90s. In 2016, Pitchfork, another highly acclaimed publication, placed the album at 21 on its 50 best shoegaze albums of all time. I got a very kind of basic understanding of shoegaze, some slow dives from My Buddy Valentine, but I haven't really dug deeper into the genre and what it has to offer. So I'm glad, Dan, that you put this on here. Let's see what we got. All right, y'all. Insubstantial, Pale Saints bringing it and switching up the genres even within this song, which was just a little over 4 minutes. Started off in that more traditional shoegaze sound where you had the droning guitars, very loud guitars, voice buried a bit in the mix with that soft, almost whispery vocals. Just the lyrics were, just really simple, short to the point phrases, a bit esoteric and out there in a sense. And then we kind of switch midway through almost to a more power pop. I mentioned I could see this, guitar fitting on like a Big Star track. Or something along those lines. And then towards the end, we switch gears again, bringing back the loud, droning kind of guitar and a more noisy, noise rock, early Sonic Youth type of vibe. That's what I was getting from that at the end. So I like the way that they, shifted so seamlessly kind of in this track. It's not up to par with just kind of my personal taste with our number 10 track by McAlmont and Butler, but it's still, it still intrigued me, man. I was hanging on what this track was doing the entire time, and that's one I think too, the more you listen to it, and I think that's true for shoegaze as a whole, the more you familiarize yourself with it, get used to some of the techniques and kind of consistencies in the genre, the more you kind of vibe with it. And some people never give it I think a chance in that regard, and some people just don't like it, their guitars to sound that loud and distorted and droning, man. But I dig it, and I definitely after that would be down to give Pale Saints another shot. And now we're going to Where Were You by the Mekons, single in 1978. Dan noted that Bowie was a fan of this track. He played it when he was a guest DJ on the BBC Radio 1 in 1979. This is what Bowie said when introducing the track. Here's some guys that followed in the tradition of what young Mark, as in Mark Bolan of T-Rex, was laying down. They're called the Mekons. I hope they gig a lot because they deserve to with this track. It has a beautiful sort of Velvet Underground top guitar over it. All right, Bowie. Well, Bowie's getting me intrigued on this. And a little bit more about the group. British post-punk band formed in the late 70s as an art collective. They're one of the longest running and most prolific first wave British punk rock bands. The band's style has evolved over time to incorporate aspects of various other genres, and they are known for their rowdy live shows. Again, this is a group that I've heard of. We got a lot of big fans of kind of this British punk, post-punk scene of that 70s and early to mid 80s. And but I've never given them a spin. So let's see what we got. Where Were You at the Mekons coming in here, man? I gotta heart that one. This is right up my alley. I'm a big fan of this type of kind of dirty punk sound that was so prevalent in the early days of the genre, and it really seems like the British scene in as much as I like the Ramones here in the States and Dead Kennedys, it seems like the British scene kind of added a bit of that sophistication to the genre on top of keeping we were short, sweet, to the point here, very succinct. The highlight for me instrumentally was that anticipation at the start, building the drums almost like a machine gun, getting louder and louder as that riff continues to build as well, and then boom, we come in and asking those simple questions, man, that I think most guys have found themselves when maybe they catch a pretty gal at the bar or whatever the case may be, and then before you know it, 2 minutes later, you're thinking, man, could she be the one? Could this be it? And it kind of gets that spirit out in this track. track, man. When I was waiting in the bar, where were you? When I was buying you a drink, where were you? When I was crying home in bed, where were you? And then he knows watching her from a distance, saying, hey, you had yellow hair. Like, we get the idea that this guy knows nothing about this gal, but it's almost like a love at first sight thing. And whenever you bring it with kind of that, that punky, as I mentioned, kind of, dirty, unrefined sound, it just works with the emotions kind of, building up that whenever you hear the track, man. So I dug it. I think Bowie said it best, almost had a little bit of that Velvet Underground type of guitar work in there. And man, doesn't this just work so well, y'all? Doesn't this work so well? We have John Cale, of course, one of the members of Velvet Underground for a few years there. He's coming in here at number 7. Fear is a Man's Best Friend, from the record Fear in 1974. This is Cale's 4th solo studio album, first track on the record, written by Cale himself. And I don't know what to expect, what genre. I mean, Cale has done so many different things. I know in his career, I know more about his career and story than about the music he's recorded by himself. So I know he can get quite experimental at times, and has been cited by some electronic artists as being a big influence as well. So don't know if we'll get that or get more of kind of that experimental rock or just alt rock in here, but might as well find out. So let's see what we got. John Cale, Fear is a Man's Best Friend. Man, I've been on a liking frenzy, but I gotta like this track as well, man. Dan killing the list so far. Number 7 here, and Cale just the best arranged track I think we've had up to this point. Don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's the most impressive musically, and the songwriting on top of that is marvelous. And as you'd expect with Cale, bass work is a extreme highlight, and then also that piano kind of built behind that incessant piano riff going in there. And I like as the song progressed, Cale continued to get a little bit more fiery in his vocal delivery till at the very end, the intro, say fear is a man's best friend, almost a bit punky in that sense. So that was impressive, man. And I really enjoyed some of these lines here, again kind of getting a bit more thought-provoking, as a lot of the songs have been up to this point, noting darkness warmer than a bedroom floor, want someone to hold me close forevermore, I'm a sleeping dog but you can't tell, when I'm on the prowl you better run like hell. Just a verse that, again, kind of stirs that emotion, stirs that angst within one, that desire to find somebody, and that fear. I like what he said. You add it up, as in fear, it brings you down. The more fear you got, the more scared you're going to be, the more you're going to go down your hole, so to speak. And the best line of this list so far, it makes sense, don't even think about it. Life and death are things you just do when you're bored. I love that phrase for some reason, man. It just kind of takes these grand concepts and brings it down to that lowest level that everybody can understand. So Cale really impressed me on that, man. And I gotta check this as I'm looking at the track list here. There's a song on here called "The Man Who Couldn't Afford to Orgy." I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up to go listen to "Fear" by John Cale, man, what will? So yet another one I'm gonna have to add to my watch list, y'all. And we're humming through this list, and it's been great. And now we're actually gonna head over to YouTube and watch a video here, because at number 6 we got "Advent of the Panurge." I'm probably butchering that word, but it's by Gentle Giant. Dan said, I'm not necessarily a prog fan, but I'm fascinated by live performances in this genre. Watching these fantastic musicians pull off these musically complex songs on stage is an experience, and Gentle Giant were one of the most skilled prog bands around. I'm going to piggyback off of what Dan said here. I'm not the biggest prog fan myself. It's more so a genre that I respect. And if I'm in the mood for, I'll check it, out, and you'll just be in awe of the musicianship. I don't listen to it a lot though, just in my own personal, listening time. But again, I'm always usually impressed, and like Dan said, these live performances are usually really, really impressive. And a little bit about Gentle Giant, British progressive rock band active between 1970 and 1980. They're known for the complexity and sophistication of their music and for the varied musical skills of their members. All the band members were multi-instrumentalists. Although not commercially successful, they did achieve a cult following, which seems to be what we get a lot with these prog groups. So let's head on over to YouTube and see what we got. Gentle Giant coming in here. Advent of Urch. Again, I don't know if I'm butchering that. I've never seen that word in my life, but dude, what a trip that was, man. You pull up and you see these guys at a battle of the bands, and then they pull that out. You pack up, you go home. All right. Man, I don't know who my favorite was. Was it my dude on the keys going in, man, with like the fastest hand motions you've ever seen? Was it the dude who was a drummer who looked like he would be fitting in right at a mechanic shop? No disrespect intended. He doesn't have that rock star look, and he goes out there, dog, and he just goes all in. I loved his energy. I think he was my favorite. And then our lead dude, man, again, just brought the energy as well. It brought the fun. He was so into it, which made me get into it. And that's what you want in a live performance. I gotta say, I was disappointed in this crowd. I know this is, on some, TV show or studio, whatever the case may be. But man, I would have given a standing O to that one. That was wild. I love the little Yankee Doodle dandy in the middle there. That was unexpected when we brought the flutes out. That was wild. And we had moments where we just went in, rocked, and really leaned into those prog rock tendencies and sensibilities with the keys going in, wild and complex. I don't know. It seemed like the time signatures were all wild. Musicians are going to know that better than I will. All I got to say, man, is that it kept me intrigued for the full 6.5 minutes here. And man, I hear songs like that, and that's why I don't write off prog rock, man. That's why I don't do it. That's why I keep coming back, even as if it's maybe not a favorite. It's still pretty darn tight, and Gentle Giant proved that. And now we're going to number 5, yo. We're heading back over to Spotify, and we got Gotta Get Away by the Stiff Little Fingers from the record Nobody's Heroes in 1980, an Irish punk rock band from Belfast, Northern Ireland. They formed in 1977 and started out as a schoolboy band called Highway Star, named after, of course, the Deep Purple song, doing rock covers until they discovered punk. Split up after 6 years and 4 records, although they reformed a handful of years later in 1987. Despite major personnel changes, they are still touring and recording. The Jam bass player Bruce Foxton, who I'm a huge fan of, we've got 3 Jam full album reactions up, All Mod Cons, Setting Suns. Go check those out if you want. He was in this band for 15 years. So let's see what we got. Yet another group, man, I'm going to have to dig deeper into. Quite enjoyed that sound. It had all the trademarks of punk that I enjoy. The angsty lyrics, the unrestrained vocals, the straight passion and energy that you expect from the genre, and yet still had that sense of catchiness and the gotta get away. Kind of reminded me of a group that was also in the punk genre around this time. I don't know a lot of their work, but I know their track Amoeba, The Adolescents, which I believe came out in the early 80s as well, 80, 81, somewhere in there. It was on the Tony Hawk video game, and it was like Amoeba. That kind of reminded me here, gotta get away, I don't know, I just made that connection. If you know the track, let me know if you can see it too, or if I'm crazy. But all in all, man, yet another this opens the record out as well. It just brings forth, I think, just some, like I mentioned, some of the best aspects of punk in here, like that idea of it's a tried and true subject matter that generations will always be able to relate to, wanting to get out of your deadbeat town, and just all the wilds and emotions that are going through your mind and your heart, and sometimes you just gotta scream out, I gotta get away. So Stiff Little Fingers brought me into their world, man, and I appreciated it and didn't want to leave. So another strong one right here. And now we're gonna switch gears to How's Life in London by the London Posse, man, getting some hip hop up in here. 1990 from that record, Gangster Chronicle. Dan said, a fun old school hip hop track that sounds very of its time in a good way. I love that early 90s hip hop sound. UK was pretty underground back then in this genre. If you don't know, the group was a British hip hop group formed together from 86 to 96. According to the Daily Telegraph, they, quote, finally gave British rap an identity of its own, and member Bionic led the charge for UK and worldwide artists to use their own accents and languages rather than copy Americans. I'm a big fan of hip hop, man, and but most of the bigger names in the genres and the artists that I really enjoy are American, just since it is such an originated in America. But there's a lot of it seems like the scene's buzzing here in 2021 too. I'm liking what Dave's doing, Stormzy, those are kind of the two big ones that I like, but also kind of that whole drill genre that's been been influencing a lot of American artists as well. So I'm curious how this 1990s, as we throw it back, sounds. All right, How's Life in London coming in, man, and London Posse, they brought it, dude. They brought it. I see what Dan was saying with sounding of its time, and for that reason, usually I'm not a fan of kind of that early or mid to late 80s and even some of the early 90s hip hop. For me, once we kind of hit 92, 93, get the Wu-Tang in there, as Biggie and Pac are kind of stepping up and whatnot as well. We kind of get some maturation of the production techniques, but this sound where that beat does sound of its time. There's still an odd, I don't know if nostalgia is the right word, but there is a bit of a charm to that, because you don't hear stuff like that that's that kind of rough around the edges in a good way, in today's hip hop. Everything's very polished and clean and well produced, which always sounds pretty good. That can work well in your favor, but sometimes, man, you want kind of this down and dirty beats that we had in here. And really just kind of going through, talking about their experiences going to all these different places, meeting up with all these different cities, their experiences with the girls there, the money, the drug cultures, man, and no matter where they go, everybody's asking how's life in London. And I thought it was funny. They said they went to America. People thought they were Australian. You don't know how many people here in the States, man, can't differentiate the British accents from the Australians, but that just kind of made me chuckle a little bit there, man. And this won't be on my list of favorites at the end, but I'm glad Dan introduced me to these guys, man, and because this is just totally just a genre and an era of music that I'm totally blind to. So UK rap, man. I mean, I'm sure these guys were quite the influence on UK rappers growing into the 2000s and 2010s and now 2020s here, and kind of pioneering the genre in a sense in the area. So now, y'all, we're in our top three. We're gonna go pretty recent to the track "Far Away Look" by Yola, who was also the lead singer of the band Phantom Limb, which released their first album in 2010. This track is from 2019. She's performed backing vocals for a lot of big name artists, from Massive Attack and even all the way to Iggy Azalea. She received 4 nominations at the Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist. This song here that we're about to listen to was nominated for Best American Roots Song and Best American Roots Performance. So looking forward to that, how we're just kind of getting a taste of every genre here. So let's see what Yola has in store. Yola, what a talented woman, bringing the heat on those vocals, man. Definitely definitely the best vocal performance we've had on this list up to this point. Not even close, man. And just the blend of almost that kind of new style of soul. You got one of my favorite newer groups called the Black Pumas, actually based out of Texas here. They've they released a really great record that kind of had some of those throwback soul sensibilities to it, and Yola definitely leaned into that as well with those horns coming in. That was the musical highlight for me, kind of triumphantly going up as her voice was crescendoing up as well. Just such great control and just such power. And it felt to me like she wasn't even like fully trying, man. That was the scary part. It felt like she was only going 50% with that. I could only imagine if she fully just belted it out, and very impressive. And lyrically, a bit of some ambiguity here. Kind of, I'm getting the vibe, talking about this person, throwing down the candles on the cake, this and that, asking this person, are you haunted and wanting more? That faraway look in your eyes, it's getting harder to disguise. And so you can kind of open to interpretation as well, and noting just kind of that darkness when your working days through. You walk the darkness to your bed to dream the dreams that live inside your head. We finish out with that short, sweet, to the point chorus where Yola just brings that power. It's no wonder that she's a backing singer for so many big time artists, man. I wish her nothing but the best, and definitely an artist to keep an eye on. And now we're going to number 2, y'all. Camera Obscura, Lloyd, I'm Ready to Be Heartbroken, from 2006. Camera Obscura, a Scottish indie pop band formed in 96, released 5 albums to date. This track is an answer to the Lloyd Cole and the Commotion song, Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken? And Camera Obscura was like, yes, Lloyd, we are. Lloyd Cole actually did a song reaction, and quite enjoyed from their debut record, and highly impressed by that. And man, the UK, y'all, your population to your great musical talent is off the charts. So let's see what Camera Obscura's got. More familiar with them than most of the other groups that have been on this list. I believe we did a triple shot reaction to them. Heck, it's probably almost been a year now, so it's not like I'm very familiar, and I wasn't familiar with this song, but as soon as we got going, I'm like, oh man, old Tracy Ann Campbell. I am a big fan of her voice, and just that kind of bubbly sound that we got here. And I always enjoy when artists do that, where when we either get some happy feel good music and contrast that with some more heartbreaking and honest lyricism, or the opposite case, which doesn't happen as much. But that chorus, hey Lloyd, I'm ready to be heartbroken because I can't see further than my own nose at this moment. I thought that was just such a simple chorus, only 2 lines, but that sense where we get where, and I can't see farther than my nose at this moment. I'm kind of in my own space. I can't really have that mindset to look ahead to what's going on, to be like, hey, is this person actually going to be right for me? And she notes too, quite poetically, you can't stay a girl while holding a boy's hand. I thought that was well put. Just getting caught up with that other person, and people, whenever 2 become 1, man, you kind of you gotta change sometimes your personality and aspects, and become more enmeshed with that person. And that's an interesting way, I think, that she put that. And yeah, man, just as I've already mentioned, I thought the strings were fantastic, and just an overall just upbeat song that has a bit of that melancholy and just heartbreak surrounding it in the lyricism. So good job by you, Dan, there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's number 1 time. Number 1, what did Dan get in store for us at this spot? We're going to go to Adorable's track from 1993, Sunshine Smile. Now, this is not on Spotify, and the video from their official YouTube was blocked in the US. But I found a workaround from somebody who uploaded it a couple years ago off of MTV2. So this isn't going to be the highest quality video you've ever seen, but thankfully it's not blocked here in the US. Dan said this song sounds a bit like if the Stone Roses were a shoegaze band, and it went to 29 on the US Modern Rock chart. They formed in 1990, only had 2 studio albums. So let's see what they got for us here, man. And afterwards, I'll give my favorite tracks to this fantastic list that Dan has curated. All right, Sunshine Smile, bringing it here from Adorable. And man, that was so authentically 90s, man. And in the best way possible, from the black and white video to the rain that was coming down, man, to just that sound, or even the stuff that they were wearing, had the leather jackets and whatnot. I thought it was cool. The lead singer was the only one dressed in white. All right, you got to be looking for those symbolism features up in there too. Everybody else was in black, and probably because he saw this, I got to see this person, man, who has that sunshine smile. Cool alliteration phrase, one that just kind of gets stuck in your head, and that catchy tune, man. All in all, especially that chorus. Thought the guitar work was simple and to the point. We had at the end there kind of up in that tempo, and getting a little harder and harder as we kept going through. I enjoyed that, got lost in that for a little bit, and I think Dan said it best. A bit like if the Stone Roses had a bit of that shoegaze band sensibilities to them, and I thought that it kind of I've never heard of them, man. I've never heard of Adorable. I guess since they only released 2 records, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. So that's why I love involving the community in our channel so much, man, because you discover great groups like this and great songs like this that you never would have, more than likely, otherwise. And I guess that's going to take me now to my favorite tracks. And this is going to be tough, man. I really enjoyed quite a bit of these. It's gonna be, I try to keep it to 3. So I'm going with "Fear Is a Man's Best Friend" by John Cale. I'm not saying that was like my favorite, but it was up there. Just I think that was the most about like sophisticated and mature track from a musical and a lyrical standpoint, blending that two together. After that, man, I would not have expected this at the start, but I got to go with Gentle Giant's track that came in at number 6 on Dan's list. I just was so impressed in the just with the multi-instrumental nature to it. There was a little bit of everything thrown in there. I was digging that, man. I was digging that. And then a couple other favorites. I got to go with Yes, our number 10 track, man. That was definitely the most uplifting song, I guess, so to speak, by Mick Allman and Butler. And then shout out as well to the Meekins track, Where Were You? I also enjoyed the punky Gotta Get Away from Stiff Little Fingers, and of course Sunshine Smile by Adorable. So what a list, man. What a list. You did a hell of a job, Dan. I gotta admit. And I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts down below on this list and some other maybe obscure UK artists that haven't ever been featured here or that you think maybe deserve some love. Be sure to drop those in the comments so we can all check them out. And again, give Dan some love for bringing this here, man. Quite enjoyed this one. And until next time, y'all, I guess that wraps it up from here. Happy listening. Hope you're having a great day, night, wherever you are. And I will sign off. And until next time, I will see you.